Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're talking about SoulFrame, the upcoming title from the creators of Warframe. So this isn't just another sci-fi shooter, it's a spiritual successor that takes everything Digital Extremes learned from Warframe and flips it into a world filled with myth, nature, and combat. So in this video, I'll be sharing everything that you need to know about SoulFrame so far, from its combat system, exploration, to how it reimagines the connection between the player, the world, and the story. And even though it is in early development, the buzz around SoulFrame is huge. Many people are curious to see how Digital Extremes will take the lessons from Warframe and build something completely different. So for now, I'm gonna give you my first-hand experience and to point out what stood out to me and what could still use some improvements. So let's jump right into it. So at its core, SoulFrame is the next big project from Digital Extremes, the same team that we all love and know who created Warframe. But unlike Warframe's fast-paced sci-fi action and gunplay, and people who know Warframe know how fast it can really get. But anyways, SoulFrame takes things in a completely different direction. It's a fantasy action RPG built around melee, magic combat, and exploration. So the devs themselves have described it as a kind of mirror world to Warframe, where technology takes a backseat and the focus shifts towards the natural world and the spiritual themes in the game. So instead of flying through space in sleek armor, you're exploring lush forests, ancient ruins, and mystical landscapes filled with living creatures and forgotten powers. It's slower and more grounded, almost like Warframe meets Dark Souls, but with its own unique soul and style. Overall, SoulFrame feels like a Digital Extreme is trying to create something more personal and emotional, a world that isn't just about combat, but about the bond between the player, nature, and the spirits that inhabit it. And that shift in tone carries over into how the game actually plays, especially when it comes to combat. So let's talk about it. So how was the combat? Well, in my opinion, it was alright. The game does use some sort of auto-targeting system, meaning it kind of locks onto the enemies for you, but you don't really see the lock symbol. Like sometimes you still gotta look at them, but other times I can look somewhere else and it would just attack the thing that it deems closest or deems as an enemy. So it works, but it doesn't feel particularly special or like skilled based at the moment. Most of the time I do find myself just left clicking through fights, which made things feel repetitive. That said though, the more distinctive bits are deeper in its class system and its ability system. Instead of rigged classes in the traditional sense, SoulFrame uses what are called packs, the game's term for its class style systems. These packs define your core ability tree, your attribute progression, called virtues, and which magical and melee tools you have access to. For example, I was playing with two abilities so far. One was a healing ground effect zone that kept me alive in like tougher situations, and the other one I got was a offensive spell that like let loose these little let's say wind projectiles that repeatedly struck enemies. They did add like a refreshing layer of variety over just, swinging my weapon. Now, ladies and gents, let's break down some of the packs themselves and the kind of abilities you can unlock. I actually can't show you guys these abilities in action since I haven't unlocked them yet, but if you want a deeper look at how each pack works, I'll leave a link in the description to Sarah Loves Archery's video, where she goes in depth with all the current packs and their abilities. So first of all, let's get started with the spirit packs. Bestone, which can turn enemies into stone temporarily. Elder Bloom, which summons a healing flower for you and nearby allies. And Phantom, which uses Hail Elka's winged birds, a flock of songbirds that attack your targets, singing revenge. The game also has combat arts, which adds arts to your weapons. For example, on my magic wand, I can upgrade it to get a deflect with a time guard to send by projectiles at the caster, increase casting speed when standing still, and increase staggering, etc. On and on. But each pack also comes with unique arcanics, so special active abilities tied to the pack's theme. Choosing a pack changes not only your abilities, but also your role in combat, from magical support to precise archery to full-on melee brawler. It is a promising system. Once the base targeting and the weapon feel tighten up, the pack system could deliver real depth. For now though, the foundation is solid, but the combat loop still needs an extra spark. That said though guys, the abilities themselves and the variety between packs give a lot of potential for unique playstyles, which is what I'm excited to explore further.
To feel the flames of more true, her arms entwined in saffron blue. Oh, but I cannot.
Let's talk about exploration, which for me is one of the more interesting parts of SoulFrame so far. To start off, the game's map isn't fully open from the get-go. You'll unlock different sections by fighting and interacting with the world tree scattered throughout each area. Each tree acts as its own kind of gateway or anchor point, revealing more of the surrounding map as you progress. It gives a nice sense of progression and makes exploration feel rewarding. Beyond the main paths, the world is dotted with random enemy camps and outposts. They aren't just for fighting, they often include chests with loot, resources, or materials, which gives you incentive to veer off the beaten path. I find myself naturally curious, wandering around just to see what surprises the map might hide. Sometimes a camp is tucked behind rocks or trees, sometimes a chest is hidden in a corner of an abandoned village. Like, you feel rewarded just for being curious and taking your time to actually explore. The design of these areas also adds a lot of atmosphere. Seeing enemy patrols, ruined structures, or small environmental storytelling elements like broken weapons scattered on the ground or trees going through old buildings gives the map a lived-in feeling. It's not just a place to fight monsters, you know what I mean? It's like, it feels real, like breathing world with history and purpose. Even small details like the placement of the camps or the natural formation around the road trees make the exploration feel meaningful rather than empty. You notice patterns in how the world is built, and that sense of cohesion makes you want to keep uncovering more. The fogged out area slowly opening up as you activate a world tree gives you a tangible reward for your efforts. Seeing new terrain revealed is always satisfying. Overall, guys, the exploration in SoulFrame is one of its strongest aspects. It encourages curiosity, rewards attention to detail, and makes the world feel alive and layered. Even if the combat isn't perfect yet, wandering through the map and uncovering its hidden secrets is incredibly satisfying. It's part of the game that really makes you feel like you're discovering a living, breathing world. But for now, guys, this is all I have to say for exploration part of this video. So now I want to give you guys my early impressions and closing thoughts on the game so far. So after spending some time with SoulFrame, here's my early impressions. What I like the most, definitely the abilities. Using them adds a lot of flavor to combat and gives you a sense of power that just swinging your weapon can't match. The healing zones, the repeated wind projectiles, and the way each pack gives unique arcs, all of that really stands out and makes each fight feel more interesting. As for what could improve, the combat system itself, right now it auto targets and sometimes your attacks don't always go where you're looking, but sometimes it does. So I'd love to see a system where your magic and abilities are aimed wherever your camera is pointing, and more variety in normal attacks to make melee feel just as satisfying as the spells. That would really make the combat loop feel deeper and more skill based. Would I play more when the game releases? Absolutely. This game is actually fun, and knowing that Digital Stream's track record with Warframe, I'm confident by the time that this game comes out officially, it's going to be polished, deep, and amazing. That said though, guys, I do want to remind everyone here that this is a pre-alpha game, so there's plenty of time for the combat system to grow into the full potential. But overall though, SoulFrame shows a lot of promise. The world is intriguing, exploration is rewarding, and the abilities already feel satisfying. Even if the combat loop needs some work, I'm excited to see how it develops, and I think it could become something really special. What about you guys though? Have you tried SoulFrame yet? Are you planning to? Which pack or ability are you most excited to experiment with? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. And if you enjoyed this look at SoulFrame so far, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps support the channel, and I'll be covering more updates as soon as the game continues to evolve. For now, guys though, peace out.